It's been almost 30 years since the internet came online, and is still a common belief that creating a website is hard and reserved for technical geniuses. Yes, until a few years ago, it required a daunting mix of coding and design skills. Fast forward to today, and the landscape has shifted dramatically. Today, I'm going to show you how no-code tools have transformed web development into a task that's more enjoyable, even if you are a beginner. We are going to be using a tool called Card, a platform that simplifies web development process into more manageable, more straightforward, and yes, even fun. Whether you're setting up a personal portfolio, launching a business, or just testing out a few creative ideas online, Card is the no-code hero you didn't know you needed. By the end of this video, you'll have a website up and running, and you will see just how easy it can be. So without further ado, it's time to build. Alright, so before we start building the website, let me introduce you to my new hypothetical business called Drag and Drip Coffee Shop. And as you can see, what I've done is I've used Canva to create a logo for this business. I've also used ChatGPT to create some dummy copy for this business, as well as a menu for this coffee shop that we are going to be putting up on the website. And finally, what I've also done is I've created a bunch of images using Midjourney, an AI image creation tool. For example, this one over here, which again, we are going to be putting up on the website in the gallery section. And with that, let's talk about our actual website. Given this is a new business and doesn't have any online presence at the moment, we are going to keep things simple and we are going to get the basics online as soon as possible. And any typical website is going to have at least a header section as well as a footer section. And within the header and the footer, you have some content. For example, in our case, we are going to have an about section, where we are going to put the description of the business, which we generated using ChatGPT, then a contact section where we will leave the email address for the business for any potential customers to contact the business. Then we are going to have a gallery section where we are going to put the images that we have for our business. And finally, we are going to have a menu section where we are going to list all the food items that this cafe has to offer. So those are the 6 sections. The header and footer is pretty typical for every single website out there, and everything else in the middle, in the content section, as they call it, is optional and depends on the type of website you're going to be building. So now we can turn our attention to Card, the tool that we are going to be using today. The URL is actually pretty simple to remember. It's just card.co. Just remember that there are 2 R's in Card. It's not like a greeting card. It is CARRD.co. So as soon as you land on the homepage, you are given 2 options. The first option is to select a starting point, and the second option is to log in. You can actually get pretty far in Card without even creating an account. But of course, once your website is all designed and ready to go, you would want to create an account so that you can save your work and publish your website. But for now, we're just going to click on choose a starting point, which is going to bring us to this new page called the build page. And here you have 2 options. You can either start building your website from the ground up by using the blank canvas option, or you can select one of the pre-made templates provided by Card. The templates are really good, thought out, and they can significantly speed up your development process, especially when you're building your first website. So let's go back here on the top. And if you notice, there are a few tabs here. So these tabs essentially narrow down your template option into different categories. If you're building a profile website or like a personal website, you will select the profile option and kind of browse through the options here. If you're building a landing page, there are some good options to choose from in this category as well. Or there are several other options. But for us, what we're going to use today is called a sectioned website. Because remember, we talked about we have 6 different sections on our website, starting from the header all the way to the footer. So a sectioned website is going to make the most sense. So let's go ahead and click on the sectioned option and see what we get. So as you can see, there are several options here to select from. I'm going to go ahead and select this one on the bottom right, which is pretty minimal in nature, the vibe that I want for my hypothetical coffee shop. So let's go ahead and click on the select option. What you can also do is you can select the demo button to see what this particular template looks like. It is going to open this up in a new page, and you can browse through everything that this particular template has to offer. As you can see, there's a header section here. I can hover over these buttons. I can click on the About button, which brings up the about section of the website, I can click on the contact button, which brings us to the contact section of the website. So this is all pre-built. Like I haven't even done any work so far, and we already get so much out of the box. So this template looks pretty good to me. So the way to use this template for our own website is to click out of this demo mode and actually click on the select button, which is then going to open up this template in the Card Studio. So once you select a template, you are pretty much ready to customize according to your own needs. And the way you customize it is by clicking on any element on the page. And when you click on any element on the page, it is going to bring up a menu with a bunch of different settings that you can use to customize the given element. What you can also do while you're on this page, if you don't like this current layout, you can move this settings option to the right, which is what I prefer. So you hit the Alt key on your keyboard and the right arrow, and then the settings menu goes on the right, and this top menu goes on the left. So this is what we are going to be using, just a personal preference, but I wanted to call that out. So if you remember, we need 6 sections in our website. So we need the header, which is already there. We need a footer, which is also already provided by the template. And between the header and the footer, we need the about section. We have that. We need the contact section, but we need 2 more sections, which is the gallery section as well as a menu section. So we don't have those in this template, but that's okay. We can easily add them in. But first, let's go ahead and start making some changes so we can get a feel for how we develop a website within the Card Studio. So as I mentioned earlier, once you click on any element, it is going to bring up a menu on the right, which is going to be corresponding to the element that you just selected. So let's go ahead and click on this image element. And as you can tell, it is pretty obvious that we are going to be putting up our logo here. As soon as I selected this image, on the right, I get an option to upload, because what we have here right now is just a placeholder image and we can easily replace this. Let's go ahead and click on the upload button, and it is going to open the file browser. And I already have assets for the drag and drip coffee shop ready to go. So I have a logo here, drag and drip logo HD. Let's go ahead and select that. Open, and it has pulled in my logo from my computer. And I'm just going to zoom it in onto the beans part of the logo because I don't want the full name here. There we go. So as the logo is selected, I click accept, and the logo is now nicely positioned within the image section here. All right. So with the logo out of the way, now let's focus on the other parts of the website. So the next thing I see here in the template is a text element, and this currently is set to someone's name. But of course, this is a website for a coffee shop or our business. So we are going to click on the text element, which is going to bring up the settings here on the right for that particular element. And as you can see, it is editable. So we can remove the name that we have by default and type the name of our coffee shop, which is drag and drip. And actually, I'm just going to leave it to drag and drip for now, because we also have another text element here at the bottom. And this is where I'm going to enter coffee shop. So now in this section, we can see it's called drag and drip coffee shop. And again, this is a personal preference. You want to type the name here, or you maybe want to type something else in this part, or you might even want to delete this part altogether. All right. So with that, our main section is out of the way. Our logo is done. We have the name ready to go. And now let's move to the about section. So this one again is going to be pretty simple. It's only a text box. And remember, I already have a copy ready to go from ChatGPT. So I'm going to copy it from there and move it into the box here in my card website. So again, I clicked on the text menu or the text element, and I got the settings here on the right. So let's get rid of this dummy text and paste our actual copy. There we go. Okay, so the copy looks good. Now I'm going to move over to the contact section. So again, there's some text here that I want to replace, and I have some copy ready to go from ChatGPT, just like last time. I'm going to copy this here, move back here, and then replace the dummy text with my copy from ChatGPT. And for the address, I'm just going to leave it alone for now. And of course, this is going to be replaced by the actual address of the business. So let's see what we have so far. We got the main section, which is also called the hero section. We got the about section, and we got the contact section ready to go. So now it is time to add the 2 additional sections that we discussed but are not currently present on our website. So to add anything new to a card website, what you need to do is you need to click on this plus button. So as soon as you click on this plus button, it is going to bring up a menu of different options that you can select from. And of course, you can pick anything from this menu, but it is going to get added to an existing section. For example, if I add a text, it is added automatically to a section that currently exists on the website. But this is not what I want to do. So I'm going to click on this and move over to the right and hit the delete button so that I can delete this element that I don't need. So what we need is we need a new section. And the way you do that is by adding something known as a control. So let's go ahead and click that. And as soon as you hit control, you will see at the bottom, now it says section 04. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it to gallery because it is going to hold the gallery of images for our business. So this section is now created. So that means we can now start adding some images to it. But before we start adding the gallery, what we need to do is we need to move this section to an area above the footer. So that footer is always the last section on our website. So there we go. So now the gallery section has moved above the footer. So now we can start adding the images to the gallery section. So let's select this and click on the plus icon. And there's actually an element that Card provides out of the box called the gallery. So I'm going to click on this. As soon as you add that, it is going to ask you to add some images to the gallery. But I think what we should also do is we should add some text to this section so that we can title this section. I'm going to move this to the top here and call this the gallery, or maybe we can call it the image gallery. There we go. And now we can upload some images. So you just select the element just like always. And given there are no images right now, we need to upload a few images. So it has already given us a placeholder for one image. So we can click on that and click on upload to select our first image. So I'll select the exterior image here and make it full size. There we go. And for the next one, what we need to do is we need to click on add, and that is going to bring up the same upload button like last time. And given I only have one image in my folder, I'm just going to select that one again. There we go. And make it full size as well. Accept. So as you can see, now we have multiple images in our image gallery. And of course, these can be different images when you are building your actual website. So the gallery section is ready to go. And now we need to add one more section. So we'll hit the plus button again, click on control, and now it is added at the right place, thankfully. So we don't have to move it. And we're going to name it the menu section. And then within the menu section, what we are going to do is we are going to leverage an element called the table element. This is just like a table you would add in a Word document. So let's go ahead and click that. And by default, it has 4 columns. And the way you decide your columns is by adding the headings in this box over here on the right. So the only headings that I need are the name, description, and price. And by default, everything is left aligned. If you want to right align something, you just add a dash next to the name, and then it is going to be right aligned. And then finally, we don't need the 4th column at all. So we are going to get rid of it when we update the data. So for the data, I already have that ready to go from ChatGPT. I'm going to come here and copy the data. And the data has to be in the same order as the headers. So it'll make sense in a second. Get rid of this and paste my data from ChatGPT. So just like the headers, I have the name, description, and price. In the data, I have the name of the menu item, the description, and the price. And as you can see, it is now listed perfectly in the table over here. So that takes care of our menu section. And then finally, at the bottom, we have the footer section, which already has a few social icons. You can either delete them if you don't need them, or you can just go here and update the URL to point to the right social profiles for your business or whatever website you are building. So we are just going to leave them as default for now. And with that, we are pretty much done with our website. I guess the only thing that's left is in the header, we only have 3 buttons, and we need to add 2 more buttons, one for the gallery section and one for the menu section. So let's go ahead and click on this. And as you can see, there are 3 buttons here on the right, and we can add 2 more by clicking on the add button. So let's call this one the gallery. That's the label. And it is going to be pointed to the gallery part of the website. And the way you point it to the gallery part of the website is by typing the £sign and the name of the section. And if you remember, we named it the gallery. So that's all we need to type here. And then the next one is the menu section. So let's call it the menu. And for the link, it is going to be £sign menu, because that is the name of our section. Very good. So let's click on done. And now we have all the buttons that we need. I just misspelled menu, so let me fix that. There we go. Done. Perfect. So So that's our basic website pretty much done. We just need to publish it. But before I do that, I also want to show you the other changes that you can make as far as the style of the website is concerned. So the styles that you can do on the website are of two types. One are at the page level, and the second one are at the element level. So when you click here on the outer space, it brings up a menu for the page specific settings. So as you can see, it is asking me if I want to change the background to a different color. I can do that. I can change it to a different color. You just reset it back to white. What I can also do is I can change it to a gradient if I want, or I can upload an image and stuff like that. So let me reset it to color. And it has also given me an option to select a pattern if I want to use on the background of the website. So the one that I like to use is something called the dots. Let's see if it's still there. There we go. Dots circle. And with the circle, you can actually increase the size and width of these dots. So I'm going to make it really small. So it's there, but it's not really visible, but it adds a nice little texture to our website. So let's go ahead and click on done. So those are some of the page level settings that you can explore. Now let's also talk about the element level settings. So for example, when you click on the image, it is going to bring up the same menu where we uploaded the image previously, but there are several tabs to notice here. So the first tab is always to actually update the content, for example, the image or the text. And the second tab is to update any styles that you want to apply to that particular element. And it's called the appearance tab, just a different name for style. So let's go ahead and click this. And here, as you can notice, there are several settings. I can increase the width of the image. I can decrease the width of the image. I can even change the shape of the image to a rectangle if I want, and so on and so forth. So just like this, every single element that you click on is always going to come with an appearance tab where you can go and change various settings that are specific to that particular element. For example, in this case, since this is a text element, you have the option to change the font and so on and so forth. Feel free to explore these settings and make the website your own. But we are going to just leave the settings as default for now. And what we are going to focus our attention now on is publishing this website. So to publish this website, it's actually pretty straightforward. You hit the save button here, and it is going to ask you for a bunch of different information. Given I already have an account, I'm going to click on login and log in using my existing credentials. All right. So now that I'm logged in, I can go back to the tab where we have been building our website, and it has now detected that I'm logged in. So let's hit on the OK button. And now we get the actual publish menu that you should be getting if you are successfully logged in. So it is going to ask you for a few things. For example, the title. So I'm going to say it is a homepage for Drag and Drip Coffee Shop. And I'm going to so for here, let's just use Drag and Drip Coffee Shop. And for the description, we'll say homepage, and we'll say Drag and Drip here for the title, which has to be something short. And then the description is slightly longer. And then finally, it's going to ask you, what do you want to do with this website? Do you want to publish it to a card-based URL, or you want to publish it to a custom domain? You need to be on a paid plan to be able to select a custom domain. So for now, we're just going to keep it to the card-specific URL. And all we need to do is give our website a name. So I'm going to say this is Drag and Drip Coffee. There we go. It is going to check if that name is available. If it is, you are going to get the publish button. So let's go ahead and do that. And that is going to bring our website online. All right, so it says site successfully published. So let's go ahead and click on the view site button and let it load. And voila, our website is ready to go. As you can see, this is in the browser. You can feel free to try this out yourself. It's called draganddripcoffee.card.co. And as we designed, we have our logo, our name, and different buttons here up top. So let's go ahead and test them out. So if I click on the About section, it is going to bring up the About description of our coffee shop. Let's check out the gallery. There we go. We see the two images. Of course, we didn't have other images to add at the time, but you can see that we have the gallery successfully rendered here. And then also, let's explore the menu of the coffee shop. So there we go. We have the menu as well. And notice that the header and the footer always stays there, no matter which section you're currently browsing. So that's pretty much it. And as you can tell, we have been able to successfully go from an idea to a publicly available website on this URL within a matter of few minutes. If you have been following along, I highly encourage you to go back and try to build a website for a hypothetical business or even for a personal use case. But as you can see, just within a matter of a few minutes and a few clicks, we were able to build a website from scratch and bring it online. So I hope this gave you an inspiration to go back and build your own. And we are going to stop here for this one, and I'll see you next time.